Hello, everybody. It's Big Al again from Lord of the Rings Rise to War. So, I wanted to do a little video about what is most important for buildings at the beginning of the season. Please bear with me a little bit because it's 1 a.m. here and I'm pretty tired, but I need to get this video out as soon as possible. So, you have your you have the season progression and then you have your own personal chapters that you have to finish. You're always going to want to try to rush through the buildings that come inside of the chapters because you need more land tiles, and the resources also are going to help because a lot of times you'll run short on resources. So there's that. Now we're going to go into our actual buildings. Okay, you have your resource buildings right here, and yes, you should upgrade them, but they're not the priority. They don't give as much resources as the tiles. As you're upgrading, the resources cost to make those buildings doesn't really help in the beginning because usually it will take you a day or two to recoup those resources once they get up a few levels. So some of the important buildings is obviously your barracks and your conscription post because you need those to upgrade the main hall. You're going to need your storage building to be up quite a few levels just in case overnight. That way you don't max out on resources. Also, the training grounds is very important. That gives you more command inside of your armies. So that means more troops, which makes tiles easier, less losses. Okay. The resource center, it sounds like it is important to start getting workshops built. I'm going to be honest, I need to read up on the workshops. I need to learn more about them. I never have really used them. Now we're going to go into the different races. Okay, we're dwarves, so we're starting with all the dwarf buildings. Okay, obviously it's important to upgrade those because those are the first ones you're going to be able to make the T3 units, the Guardians, the Master Throwers. Okay, so you're going to want to do those. Now we're going to go to the Numerian quarters. Again, sorry, I'm tired. Okay, I don't personally use any of these troops, so I'm not going to waste any of my resources building these training grounds early. Okay, I will upgrade the quarters because it gives extra production. Again, it's not that much of a priority, but it does help. Okay, next one, because we're dwarves, is the Rohirrim. Okay, I won't use any of these troops early game at all. So again, I'm upgrading the quarters, but I'm leaving the buildings 0. The last one will be the Elven quarters. That will be unlocked when my main hall is done in, I think, about 2 hours. Um, and again, I probably might make, a couple of the T1 archers for the fact that they have 100% evade for one attack. And the reason I would use those is for mobs, because I can just put a few of those troops in with my damage dealing commanders and take out mobs easily and only lose a couple troops. They're very cheap and it's just something so I don't have to dig into my fighting troops that I want for my main army while we're either fighting or while we're picking up tiles. Okay, let me go back into that. Oh wow, my main hall still got 8 hours. Okay, again, I'm tired. I set it up so that it would do most of the building while I was asleep, which is another thing that you want to do is before you go to bed, try to pick one or two of the buildings that take the longest and do that while you sleep. That way you're not waiting during the day. Okay, now there's also questions about how much balance should you have between building troops and building buildings. Okay, at the beginning, you're going to want to focus about 80 to 90% of your resources on buildings. Okay, once you get to chapter 7 or main hall 7 or 8, I would recommend doing a more of a 50-50 balance, because with the way the servers are set up now, it's slower. We're locked into our spawn land. Actually, it just got unleashed now, but until we can take a pass to open up more lands, we're stuck in our spawn lands. So now that we're close to that area, you want to switch about 50% of your focus on finishing your buildings, 50% on troops. And again, that's after you get to, I would recommend main hall 8 before you switch that balance, because you are going to start needing troops. If it is a very busy server and it seems like everyone is strong, maybe start building more troops around main hall 6 or while main hall 7 is building. I got into the routine of I build while I sleep, I train when I wake up and start some of the resource buildings because they're somewhat cheap, and I'll train some troops in the morning, and then after that I will do buildings or be saving up for a big building like a main hall. So there's my recommendations on the buildings. And I'm going to cut my video there, and I'm going to make another one tomorrow with the season update and some tips for you. I hope this video makes sense and helps you decide which buildings to build. But one thing I do want to say before I close it out again, if you do decide to use man troops or Rohirrim, it's okay if you build up those buildings if you're going to use those troops. But again, if you're not going to use those troops early game, don't bother building them until you start needing them. Okay, and I will cut it off there. Have a good night, and make sure to make the best out of what you got.